be delivered with a predictable income stream. What if that income stream adjusts for inflation? Today, ladies and gentlemen, Agro-based through Ex-Rico will answer some of those questions. We are Agro-based Capital, we're an investment banking boutique. We have three faces: Agro-based Wealth Managers, Agro-based Securities, and Agro-based Advisory Services. Agro-based Wealth Managers, they help plan your portfolios as you prepare for retirement. Agro-based Securities is saying you can actually prepare a retirement plan that involves equities. It's not impossible. Through Agro-based Wealth Managers, what have they done? Agro-based Wealth Managers, as they are looking, Agro-based Wealth Managers, as they are helping you prepare for your retirement plan, have come up with a very revolutionary and creative solution for an African retiree. What are we doing? We are simply reimagining Mujikandikere. Our Sekurus in the house would know what we mean about Mujikandikere. So where are we coming from with this thing? We are saying, I don't know what's happening to this thing. Okay, so we are saying, where are we coming from? Looking at the current pension savings, we have got about 1.9 billion that is in the market that is said to be owned by the contributors. But you look at the contributing workforce, which is about 3.2 million. You divide that, you literally have about $2,000 that can actually be distributed among the contributing workforce. It doesn't work. You look at the general economic challenges that have been wiping all those retirement savings. It's not working. You look at how many are contributing. It's about 31% that is actually participating. Of the 3.2 million, you only have about 900,000 people that are actually contributing. So something is wrong with our retirement planning. Then agricultural side. Climate has been a disaster for us. Back then, our Sekurus would retire and go home and start doing their farming there. But now, because of the El Nino effects and all that, you now need a research-anchored agricultural activity. So it's now a problem as well. So what have Agro-based done to try and solve this? Ladies and gentlemen, what we have done, we have said, let's identify a piece of land. And this is what we call the exquisite retirement concept. So what we are doing with that piece of land, we'll get it, we'll subdivide. Like for now, we have got this one that is in Chekutu. We have subdivided it. We are going to give you a 2-hectare plot or a 1.3-hectare plot inside a gated community. It will come with a fully constructed 2-bed house sitting on 2,000 square meters. It will come with a fully equipped greenhouse that will be sitting on 1,000 square meters where you'll be doing cucumbers, doing onions inside that greenhouse. In addition, you also have an open field where we will be doing onions, where we'll be doing potatoes. That same house or that same plot will also give you a solar-powered bowl that comes with a water tank, a drip irrigation setup. What have we done to try and deliver this adequately? We have secured all the permits, so this thing is ready for you to come and occupy. It's ready for you to take it over. We have Old Mutual, we are one of the biggest pension funds in the land that has partnered us to deliver this. We are actually talking with our host today, which is the Public Service Commission, to try and also deliver other instances. How will this thing work? So what we are going to do is we don't want to super you with actually doing the agri services. So Agro-based has put together an experienced team of agronomists that will be responsible for the day-to-day operations of that farm. I said we have a greenhouse, we have an open field area, so we have got a team of experts that are going to come on the ground to do the agronomy services. They will be led by a renowned agronomist in the name of Jan van Rooyen. You will be responsible for running the greenhouse while you are just seated and watching TV in your beautiful house. Those same guys, what we have done is, as we are starting, they are going to be servicing the local market. We've actually secured offtake contracts with guys like your KFCs, your Simbisa brands, your Wheels Group. They will be participating in the projects that we'll be doing there. But in the long term, we're actually looking at exporting. We have then secured the services of one of the qualified global gap. I like that Gogo who was here was talking about that. So you need a license to actually be able to export. And we have shortlisted the services of such a guy who will help us get the license to be able to export to Europe. We've actually secured offtake contracts with some European companies. So all we need to do is to produce and get ready to actually export. So that's what we will be having there. And all this thing will be done on your behalf while you are seated. You don't need to do anything. All you need to do is buy yourself a plot. How do you do that? We've got two packages. The first one is the access package. The access package is probably what will be applicable to all of us in here. It goes for about 75,000. Don't worry about the number. What will happen is this access package, we are speaking with a couple of commercial banks who have indicated that they can actually give us a mortgage facility. Indicatively, you have got a 10-year mortgage facility where you are required to just do a deposit of about 30%. We are in conversations with the host today to try and see if we can access some of our pension contributions so that we can allocate it towards the acquisition of a mortgage. Then the rest you are paying over 10 years, you are contributing about 440, but that same agribusiness, remember it's a business, it's dropping about $600 every month, so you actually have a net profit position at the end of the month. Agribusiness is servicing the mortgage obligation. All you need to do is to bring in the initial installment. On the other side, you have got the premium package, which is going for about 300,000. Those who like figures, that's what we have there. You have got very healthy margins. You have got your payback period that is positive, net present value, return on equity looking very lucrative there. These are some of the organizations that trust us. We are an investment bank. We are licensed by the Securities and Exchange Commission of Zimbabwe. We are on the second store as you're coming through entrance number 2 there. Please come, let's talk about this and see how we can work together, how we can help plan for our retirement. It's coming. That's one thing that is guaranteed. There are no two ways about that. Thank you so much.
Thank you to Ronald Smanda. He's representing Agro-based
abilities, or they've put, okay, can someone move the slide for me? Maybe I need to take an opportunity to then speak it more to it. But what I'll do is to then ask a few questions after. I think he's just trying to show the next slide. Really, this slide is essentially showing our logo, our colors, and essentially from there you see that kite. We believe in partnership. We go up together, we come together down. Thank you. Right, our vision to build stakeholder value by delivering smart solutions. And our mission to be a top quartile asset manager which offers opportunities for wealth creation by committing to deliver the full range of our capabilities, and those are our values. Our shareholding is largely a business that is owned by management and staff. Our story dates back from 1996 when it was Kingdom Asset Managers. We talked of money making sense. And fast forward, the Kingdom Bank went into partnership with Afrasia. And you know what happened 2015. Afrasia went down. And that's essentially where our story then began. Obviously, with the bank shareholder having gone down, as a child to the bank, we were to go down. I'm sure my team were saying, Mr. Kadzere, let's park. Then I said, until such time our regulator comes through to ask us to go, we'll do that. But fast forward, we did a scheme of arrangement which exchanged shareholding in the business. And when the bank went down at peak in 2013, when AfriAsia started having challenges, we were managing about 60 million USD. And by the bank went down February 2015, we went down to 23 million. And of course, 2015, we were just warming desks. We had to get salary cuts. And what then happened is by March 2016, we were like a starting outfit, managing only 5 million. And then we rebranded our business to SmartVest under the able leadership of the former governor, Leonard Tsumba, and me, the CEO there. The other board members are right there, Chikava, Mrs. Spiri, and Ronald Hayes. Just the organogram for you to see. My team, I'm sure Rolinda is with us here today. Essentially, what are our products? We are in retail, where we have got 4 unit trust funds and the wholesale business, and essentially, those are the aspects where we have partnership with your pension fund. But I've heard in the discussions that where do we start? We don't have resources. Those retail products would suit some of the delegates here. As little as $100 a month, $50 a month, you can go into the high income fund, which gives returns in excess of about 20% per annum. And what do we provide as an asset manager? Essentially those keys: security, service delivery, and good performance to whatever products you have given us to manage. And our investment philosophy, we both growth investors and value investors. Essentially, it's how we identify assets. We try to buy them low and offload them at peak. And you'd say, how do we manage the risk as a business? We've got a risk audit committee in place, and we've got the Security Exchange Commission, IPEC, our regulators, reputable audit firms, Baker Tilly, who looks after the unit trust book, and Grant Thornton, who looks after the asset management firm, the compliance officer, custodial services, professional indemnity, diverse money market counterparties, is that we are an independent asset manager. And essentially, it's just quickly going through the processes of investing when we get a mandate. And our value proposition, normally I've already spoken about the fixed income, structured investments, equity opportunities, where could private equity, VFX, like you demonstrate some of the assets we have invested in. And here, this is a school. You see, I'm sure if you go back to HE, he says, Nika inovakwa neve nevayo. And as an asset manager, wholly Zimbabwean, we are doing our little bit to contribute to the development of our country. And this is a school which we put up in Madokero, opened doors some 3 years ago. We are in our 3rd year of operation, and we had our first exam class last year, and the A levels was 100% pass, and O levels at 63% pass, essentially, which compares very favorable to the national average of 34%. And this is one of the developments we have actually done on behalf of, of your funds. And these are achieving rentals of at least 1,400, sorry, $1,400 per month. And this again, it's the fund has also invested in their rentals of up to 2,400 for the double stories and 1,600 for the single stories. And essentially, as an asset manager, we have been involved in a lot of developments. As you can see, this is Glaudina, where we developed 735 stands for one of the big pension funds, in NASA to be specific, which are selling at $60 per square meter. And this is another development which is also achieving $1,400 per month per unit. And this is a current development where we are in the market looking for about 22 million to develop. It's in the environments of the new city, and we're sitting on 190 hectares, where it's what do you call it? We have a shopping mall, flats, clusters, stands, which is consistent with the vision of 2030, where we're trying to create housing for all. And those are some of our partners in business. And as Smartvest Wealth Managers, I'm sure last year we were second runner-up under the Capital Markets Awards as a best performing asset manager. And I list why people should do business with us. Thank you for your listening, and we commit to remain your partners in future conferences. Thank you very much. And
Right, the next session, retirement is normally a time for independence, a time to leave a legacy. And the next presentation is to maximizing retirement opportunities in agribusiness. So our panelists, we have Ivan Craig, who's an agronomist. If you can come this side, please. We also have Shingirai Jena with ADA. We have Paul Chatikobo from the Chinhoyi University of Technology. We have Levi Mabonga from CBZ Livestock Department. If you can come up front. And our presentation will come from the Chief Director, Wenje. Ngati varoere maoko vechuya kuno. Nyamutukwa as well, if you are here. Linda.
Thank you very much. My apologies. I had not made the necessary arrangements for my presentation to be flighted. But while we are making that, I'll just speak. Thank you very much, facilitator. I want to speak to the subject on maximizing retirement opportunities in the agribusiness sector. My name is Clemens Tadera Brinje. I'm the Chief Director responsible for business development, markets and trade in the ministry. I'm representing the Permanent Secretary for the Ministry of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development, who has not been able to be with us for equally important business. Yesterday, we started off from a point where I was saying that the agribusiness sector offers quite a lot of opportunities for retirees. And what is important for us is really for us to make a choice in terms of where exactly in the agribusiness value chain do we want to be? Where in the value chain do we have the interests? Where do we have the skills? And when that choice has been made, thank you very much. When that choice has been made, if we can go to the next slide. Next slide. Next slide. So that's the agribusiness value chain opportunities there. They cut across the whole value chain from the input supply, production, processing, marketing, and retail. And we are saying, where is your interest in that value chain? Okay. Where is your interest in that value chain? And where do you have the relevant skills? Do you want to be a seed supplier? An agro dealer distributing inputs to farmers? You want to be a farmer who can do poultry, who can do rabbits. We've been talking about rabbits, goats here. Or you want to go up the value chain and do a little bit of processing. Maybe you don't want the dirty work. You just want to be in the retail there, getting things and delivering it to the final consumers. Or you want to integrate right across the value chain. So that is, those are the vast opportunities. But I think the question today is, how do we maximize those opportunities? Now, we're talking about planning. These are some of the key considerations that I've picked when you are now trying to plan for where you have chosen to be in the agribusiness value chain. The first consideration there, I've said the personal interests and the skills. You need to do a market demand and competition analysis for the industry that you have chosen. If you are saying, I want to be a farmer, you need to understand the market for the commodities that you are going to be producing. where, who is going to buy, so that you produce for the market. Most of us as entrepreneurs, as startups, we have failed at the market level. So you need to start from there. Do I have the market? And if there is competition, how am I going to bring a unique product that will be preferred over that of competition? Now, you also need to decide on the scale of operation. How am I going to start? At what scale do I need to start? I think there's been a lot of advice that you need to start small. So you need to decide on that scale. And then you also need to decide on the level of diversification. Maybe you want to start off from a very single kind of enterprise, then diversify later. Then you also need to consider a lot of resources and support. Where am I going to get financing? We talked of skills. Do I have the necessary skills? If I don't, where do I get that kind of training that I need? You also need to consider risk. Risk is very important. Your business can die before it starts because of risks. Then come up with the business plan. I've tried to come up there with a basic structure of the business plan, but basically here you are putting your thoughts on paper, right? And I know you have a lot of that, and I will not want, for the sake of time, I will not go through that. But here is now some of the strategies when you are now coming to implementing, right? You have got your plan now. Now you want to implement, and this is where we are saying that you start small, and then you scale up, you diversify your income streams as you grow. But most importantly, you want to leverage on technology. You must leverage on technology, online platforms, the digitalization of operations, that is very important. Building support networks in terms of inputs, that is very important. I'll speak more. I have a slide that will speak more on that. You have to continuously learn and adapt. And I'll speak more on that one, as well as management of risk. So, firstly, let me talk about risk management. Remember, we are trying to maximize benefits. We are trying to maximize benefits of your enterprise in the agribusiness. This is the risk perspective to it. You need to manage risks. You need to manage risks. And these are some of the risks that I have managed to just quickly identify for you. If you look at the first column there, it's climate change. You need to manage climate change, and here I'm talking from a perspective of the farming, where you need to manage that. And there are programs for the ministry that really we can help you in terms of managing climate risks, and that includes the irrigation development that we are doing, quite a number of innovations that we have, mechanization projects, the Fumbuza, Inter conservation agriculture. All those are some of the issues, innovations that you can use. That is if you are in the farming, that if you choose to be at the farming. Then shortage of inputs, you need to be able to manage that. How do I access inputs? In terms of funding or in terms of reducing the cost, you need to make sure that you, for example, bulk purchasing, contract farming, those are some of the issues that you need to look into if you can access that. Then limited irrigation infrastructure, mechanization, the issue of theft. Allow me to give examples for farming, but the agribusiness sector is wide as I've just shown. And you need to be able to really put in place systems that ensure that you diversify, you do away with those. I spoke of the money-making model yesterday, and I'm happy I got the opportunity to talk about a little bit more today. When you have chosen to be in input supply, when you have chosen to be in a farmer, you have chosen to be a processor, you need to understand what makes you money in that particular business. We all talk of profit, and we know the formula to profit. It looks very simple. Revenue minus cost is equal to profit. You will not get that profit if you don't manage your variables that affect output. If you don't manage your variables that affect the cost. So here I'm saying, for you to increase profit in that business that you are doing, you need to do two things. Increase revenue. You need to reduce cost. But the question is how? How do I reduce the cost? And how do I increase? Now, talking about output, this is where now we are talking about increasing your production and productivity. And as agriculture, we are saying we have got a number of projects, a number of programs that we have in place that can actually help you to enhance production and productivity. There are technologies, innovations that will help you increase production and productivity. In light of climate change, you need irrigation. You need breeds that are drought and heat resilient. You need varieties that are resistant to drought so that you can continue to produce even in the face of drought. That way, you are increasing your output. That way, you are increasing your revenue, which will then manifest in the profit. But from the cost side, you need to focus on efficiency, utilization of inputs. How much inputs do I need to put to produce? What is the optimum level of input use? And here, talking about farmers, there are a lot of sources that can tell us, what are the optimal input use levels. The private sector, go to input suppliers, they will tell you that. As ministry, we have got farm handbook that will tell you how much of this do you need for chickens, for rabbits, for maize and everything. So you need to make use of that so that you can efficiently, utilize your inputs. One of the things that you can do to maximize your profit is turnover. Turnover. If you are a farmer, how many times are you able to grow within a year and be able to sell? So if you can increase the number of times if you can do 2 cycles, that's increasing your turnover. So those are the 3 ways that you need to understand for each business that you have gone into. And we need to understand that profit and cash flow are different. So you might make profit, but without any cash flow running in the business. So you need to ensure that you have both the cash flow and the profit. Now, we said you must make sure that you gather enough resources and support around your businesses. And this support, you get it from government departments, you get it from development partners. You can also get online courses. And as Minister of Agriculture here, we have got the online agriculture college. So you can benefit from that as a resource that help you to improve the production and productivity in the sector that you have chosen. And also, I've talked about books and articles. Those are important sources. Now, this would have been this is actually my final slide, which I think I cannot go through because I did go through some of these. Here I was just trying to bring to you some of the programs that the ministry has, which you can leverage, right? But I want to say that the issue of irrigation and mechanization, I want to single that out here and advise that colleagues, let's benefit from these because they are true productivity enhancing factors that we need to benefit from. And we've got a number of facilities there that you can benefit from that relates to mechanization and irrigation as well as inputs. You can, colleagues, visit our stand and get more on the projects and programs. I thank you.
Thank you to the Chief Director, Wenje, for that presentation. I did say that we have a panelist that we have up front. And I will start with the gentleman from Arda. I suppose there are microphones there. Right, I spoke about this yesterday, that on your way to Kezi, there is an agriculture college there that is also community-based, but I'm told there are about 5 more other than that. Maybe as a departure point, what's your relationship with the community in as far as those colleges are concerned?
Thank you, and good afternoon. Very good question. My name is Shingirai Jena. I'm a director for operations at the Agriculture and Rural Development Authority, which is a parastatal under the Ministry of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water, and Rural Development. And our mandate is to be the country's national food security agent, and we are mandated to produce food crops for the nation, specifically 800,000 metric tons of cereals annually for the nation, which constitutes 45% of the strategic grain reserve. So speaking specifically to the question that you've asked, we do have a number of programs that we are running that retirees can benefit from, that speak to the communities that you've spoken about. I'll speak to 6 of them, which speak to us assisting members within the communities, particularly retirees, to be able to maximize on the opportunities within agriculture. The first program that we have, that we run, is what is called the ADA-VIAM, which is short for the Vision Incubator and Accelerator Model. So this opportunity that we are presenting is specifically a crowdfunding model where participants bring in their money to invest in irrigation development. We do have a number of farms across the country. You mentioned about Kezi. So we do have not only in Kezi, but across the country where they are very close to water. We've got very good soils, but what we really need to do is to invest in irrigation development to climate-proof for us to be able to produce sustainably and profitably. So what this model basically does is you put in your money, your investment. The production is done by ADA on the back of a sustainable business case, and then the proceeds or the profits from the proceeds of that production are shared pro rata with the initial investors that would have put money for the development of that irrigation infrastructure. So that is one key point or departure opportunity that exists within the communities, not just in Kezi as you've asked. And then we also do have another program that we are running, which is basically an outgrower program where we finance farmers. If you do have your piece of land, you could be a retiree or not, but you have your piece of land, but you don't have resources for you to be able to produce. We do have an outgrower program where we finance seed fertilizers and chemicals to the farmers, and we recover the cost of these at the end of the season. And again, that production is market-led. We do have markets that we already have signed contracts with, so it's guaranteed, it's secure, and you will be able to get your profit at the end of the day. And then in-house, we also have a seed house, a seed company. So there is an opportunity again for you to participate in the seed value chain, where you produce seed guided by the various seed agronomists that will assist you in how to produce this seed, and you sell back to us and make money at the end of the day. And then another exciting opportunity that again speaks to the communities is that of village business units. We are in partnership with a number of banks, a number of development partners, where we develop 1 hectare solar-powered drip irrigation plots that the farmers or the beneficiaries then enter into value chains that we would have signed contracts off with. And specifically within ADA, we do have what is called the best fruit processors in Norton. It's a plant that produces tomato paste. So we do contract quite a lot of farmers to produce tomatoes for us, and this is what we've been doing specifically for the village business unit. And again, it's an opportunity for all of these farmers, including retirees, to be able to participate in those value chains. And then we also have another exciting opportunity where farmers that have excess capacity in terms of tillage, CD, we just spoke about it earlier on, where you've got excess capacity in terms of tillage infrastructure, we do have an onboarding platform where we share this excess capacity with farmers that don't have. So you're on board on this platform where we share your tractor, your planter, your disc harrow with the next farmer, and then they pay you through us through an escrow account, and we retain a small administration fee. So again, that is an opportunity for retirees who do have that excess capacity within them. So it's basically money working for them. They're sweating their equipment and infrastructure while they sit at home. And then lastly, we do have a program that we're running with the banks where we finance and facilitate irrigation development to climate fruit production for the farmers. So those farmers that have their farms, they've got access to water, we do have a program where we then finance irrigation development for them, and then they can produce more sustainably, more predictably, and the profits from the installments for the loans that we would have advanced to them are then deducted from the profits of the proceeds from the value chains that we would have contracted the farmers. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And arguably the most popular agronomist in Zimbabwe at the moment, because he's always on TV and social media, and that is Ivan Craig. Talk about the technical and agronomic perspective. What low risk or high return agronomic ventures are feasible for retirees with limited labor capacity?
Thank you so much. I've got a presentation being loaded, I think. Sorry? The presentation. Yeah, it's there. No, it's there.
You could respond while seated and then we'll come back to the presentation.
Oh, is that?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yes, if you look at agriculture, agriculture is a project which is very viable if you run it professionally. The only problem which we are facing at the moment is that farmers are taking farming as a hobby, are taking farming as a while-up time project. They are not putting any serious business mind in it. There are no business cases in agriculture as we speak, including those farmers again on large commercial farms. Ask them if they've got a strategy. Like any other organization, there is no way you can say, I'm running a company without a plan, without a strategy, without a structure of management. That's where the big difference between farming and business is. So as a farmer, as a villager, you have to take farming as a business. If you look at our extension officers today, they are no longer called Madumeni. I think I'm the only person called Madumeni in this country. All Madumeni are now called agricultural business advisors, because they are supposed to be advising whether you're a rural farmer or a commercial farmer on the business models which are profitable and sustainable. So as we are going into farming, looking at minimum cost, unfortunately, we can't talk of minimum cost when it's a business. If it is a business and you've got a strategy, you've got a plan, it must be run according to a plan. If you now try to take shortcuts to say, let me cut money on this so that I make profit on that, you won't even make that profit, because you're supposed to make the money of a farmer is in the yield. Are you attaining the potential yield of your area? Are you attaining the potential yield of a particular crop which you have grown? If it's a rep, if it's tsunga, if it's cover, I'm talking of the cheapest and easiest crop to grow. You must achieve at least, in a cycle of those crops, you must achieve at least 35 tons, of which if you look at rep, tsunga, that must, if you manage it well, you must harvest for at least 2-3 months and you're done. Out of the 2-3 months, you've got your money in the bank. So if you try to take shortcuts, now I'm saying I won't use fertilizer, let me use compost. I won't spray, let me use this. I won't do this operation because I'm trying to cut down the cost. There's no shortcut in agriculture. Agriculture is just as good as any other business. For you to achieve the 35 tons of yield from your rep or your tsunga, you must do proper land preparation. You must make sure that if it's compost, we are talking of 30 to 50 metric tons per hectare. If you are talking of the fertilizer, the basal fertilizer, which are the compound Cs, we are talking of the 400, 500 kgs per hectare. Same applies to your top dressing and all that. Labor must be equivalent to the hectareage which you are growing, so that at least you can achieve the potential yield of that. Once you sell, the production cost of Repo Tsunga, I've picked the cheapest you can ever think of. Apana garden is not Rep, apana garden is not Tsunga. It's a crop which is easy to grow, right? If you spend $3,000 to produce your 1 hectare of any of those very simple and cheap crops to grow, you then sell it at maybe 40 to 80 or 90 cents, depending on the area and also the time of the year. If it's winter, it fetches you a better price. You can actually make a gross of $12,000, less your 3,000, at least you've got your 8,000-9,000 net in the pocket. So you see, if you don't take shortcuts, you still be able to make the money. Now, if you look at other crops, which might be expensive to produce, look at potato. Potato need about $6,000 to establish 1 hectare. Yes, it's a bit on the higher side, but if you do it properly, you make your 60 tons per hectare, and then you make your 48,000 less your production cost, you pocket 38 to 42,000 net. So farming, if you take it seriously as a business, you'll be in a position to win. You'll be in a position to make money out of farming. You heard one presenter here was saying, yes, it's true. Look at my old Wanasekuru. They managed to send one. Yes, if you look at the CEO, I can't to boarding school because the fees are quite high, they cannot afford. But then, back then, you find the old farmers, they could afford to develop musha, they could afford to run my shops, they could afford to buy mombe, they could afford to send children to school with fees fully paid, full uniform from shoes right up to the head. And you know, things, and they also had money to support the father who was working in towns. So they took farming as a business, and their money was in the yield, their money was in the quality. So really, I'm looking at agriculture as a business where we are saying, let's be serious. Let's plan it properly. There are a lot of tools. Okay, I'll give you one example of Fumvudza. You find that with Fumvudza, don't talk of capital. Capital have got Kumusha, and our president, there are PIP programs, a lot of them. There's goat, there's chicken, there's tigris for your mombes, there's Fumvudza, there's fisheries. So with Fumvudza, you've got your 2 plots. I'm picking 2 plots because the minimum we're talking of at the moment in agriculture is minimum 5 plots for you to access inputs. But if you've got only 2 and not supported with irrigation, you find that on a Fumvudza plot, well done, supervised by our agricultural business advisors, you find you can get about a ton. The ton you get, the 1 ton you keep for your food at a household level. And you only need 10 bags, and you are looking at 20 bags here out of 1 plot. So the 20 bags, you keep 10, and the other 10, you put it on the other plot where you've got a ton, you now have 30. But if you've got 1 ton of maize, if you don't send it to GMB, if you value add, you make your maputi. Out of maputi, you make those small sachets, the Mandire thing, 16,650 cents each. You find the money you are going to make is it's an amazing figure. You can't believe it. Yes, it's possible. Other guys are doing it. And then if you decide to go green mill is at 55,000 plants per hectare, and you sell at $2 a dozen, you pocket your $6,000 net in the pocket. Or if you decide to say you do it timely very well, in winter where there's less maize, you sell it at $4 a dozen, you find that you will be in a position to pocket about 15,000 net from green millies. So really you can't tell me you need high salary to establish Fumvudza, and yet our president is giving us free inputs to establish that 1 hectare Fumvudza. And the only thing you can do to thank is to take half of the first plot to GMB, the other half you keep for house consumption, and then the other plot you do your value addition and make money. If you do Manuchi, where you should research bagay for $1 a bucket, you pocket 7,000 net. So what more do you want? The capital is there, we are given, without you touching your pocket, without you touching your salary. You can actually start a retirement program. From there, sinking a bore, it's only 1,200. These days, even 700, you can sink a bore, right? You have made yourself all those thousands. You can sink a bore, you can put a pump, you can put a tank, solar. There's a center pivot, which we are talking of now, which is going for 2,400. You can afford to establish, whereby you've proved the climate change by making sure that the 1 hectare is irrigable. The 1 hectare you can do after your maize, you can do horticulture throughout, you can do your winter. Throughout the year, you'll be making money. So really 2030, the dream of our president is achievable, and the dream of living pretty after you've retired, whether you're lazy or what, whether it's your hobby, it's not, whether you can do it or not, you can use your brains to supervise and make money out of just kumusha and live pretty. Unfortunately, I couldn't go through my presentation, but I think I've touched a bit what was in my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. I love the diversity part and the fact that you mentioned that agriculture is a big business, but every business needs the financing. Hence, we have Levi from CBZ, and my question to you will be, what retirement-friendly financing models exist for agribusiness?
Good afternoon. ladies and gentlemen. My name is Levi Mabonga, and I am here representing CBZ. Most of the things that I wanted to talk about were supposed to be in my presentation, but a number of things have been touched by my predecessors. So I'll just go through some of the products that we have, or maybe all of the products that we have are for retirees, all of them. But before I delve into that, may I hasten to say, as people, not just as civil servants, but just as Zimbabweans, let's learn to leverage on government support programs. When the government is rolling out programs, they are not for certain individuals. Let's dispel the notion that when programs are rolled out, they are for some people and they are not for yourself. I sit here regretting why I had the same kind of thinking when the land reform program was rolled out. I thought land reform was for other people. And now as CBZ, as a bank, when you come to us seeking for loans that have to do with farming, what are we asking for? We are asking for an offer letter that someone managed to get when they joined the land reform program. So do not shy away from programs that are rolled out by the government, because they are there to assist not just you, but even your family. I also want to talk about the issue of Fumvuza, like he said. You know, when you come to the bank, the first question that we ask you is, yes, you want us to advance you with some of our products as a bank, but what are you doing at your level? What cash flows do you have? And in a country where the government is giving out free inputs, you are not even a participant in that. You don't even have any other cash flows besides your salary. Fumvuza is not for certain people. Fumvuza is for yourself. Because before we give you an agro-based loan, we come and do what we call an assessment visit. We come to your farm, we come to your homestead. We want to see what projects you are doing. A person who has done a ton of Fumvuza is better than a person who has done nothing. So before we fund you, we ask about the programs or projects that you are doing at your own level. As CBZ, those who bank with us who know our mantra is your partner for success. And we have a number of products that we have that if you tap into them, you realize that you are not just a retiree, but you are also a business person, because that's what we call the farmers that we work with. Now, in our farming, under our farming operations, we have contract farming. Under contract farming, like I said, you have to show proof that you have a piece of land. But even though you are like myself, who doesn't have an offer letter, you can also get into a joint venture with a farmer who has got excess land. So you go into a joint venture, and we respect those joint ventures. You use that joint venture to access inputs from Agro-Yield, another division of CBZ. So in terms of our inputs, you don't pay anything. You just prove to us that you've got the land and, of course, some security after some experiences that we had before. And after you have gone through our loan application process, we advance you with all the inputs that you need per every hectare that you have applied for. And you wait until harvest time, and we normally, these days, we are assisting our own farmers to sell their grain. So we give you all the inputs that you need at the time of harvest We take the grain and we assist you to sell that grain. We deduct our part and we give you your profits. That's what we do under farming lately. But again, as CBZ, we are no longer just bankers and office people. We have decided to also go onto the ground and farm with you. So if you do not have capacity to provide us with all the requirements that are needed for you to access our inputs, we get into a joint venture that is signed by the ministry here with you, and we have a profit share. We come and actually do the farming ourselves at your farm. And all you need to do is assist us to manage the crops that we would have grown at your farm. So I've talked about contract farming. I've talked about joint ventures. So you are free without money. A lot of people are complaining that I don't have the capital to use, but we are saying you have got the land, we have got the money. So let's come up with a joint venture that will create a win-win situation for the both of us.
Maybe let me pause you there for now. We have got the land, you have the money. I like that statement. I'll come back to you. And the Chinoi University of Technology, and that is CAT, they run a unique livestock program. And to Mr. Achachikobo, I'm told the intake has become so popular that it's become that successful. What's been the secret?
Thank you, moderator. Good afternoon. I wanted to use a very, maybe it won't be derogatory. Good afternoon, those who are fearing to retire. Thank you. Moderator, you asked me a very difficult question. Can you come again?
The question was, you run the livestock program as CAT.
Okay.
And I'm told, is that successful in terms of the intakes, year in, year out? How successful is it?
Thank you. I think for the benefit of the workshop, I'm not going to answer his question. I want to be very clear, because if I try to answer it, I will not address the participants. Representing university, let me wind, I'll come there. Representing the university, Chinoi University of Technology, and we are here to tell you about some fascinating products and services that we have. They are not only targeting people who are fearing retiring, we are also targeting people, young bloods. I'm happy, I met one guy at lunch who was saying, yeah, it's unfortunate I'm here, but I'm benefiting. So we have got products and services that also target the young, the youth. Because Tina, most of us, we're targeting retirement, probably a period of 5 to 10 years, and we are out of the map. So we want to target. So as a university, we have a mandate, which you all know. Recently, in 2018, the universities in Zimbabwe moved away from something called Education 3.0, which most of us here have probably gone through. And no wonder why this hall is full of people who are afraid of retiring, because that education curricula, the 3.0 one, which I think we all went through, was basically training people to be workers, to be employees, and to be people who are so good at keeping time, keeping SOPs, doing due diligence for boss. And they will be very happy to put on their suits and go home at the end of the day. And these are the kind of people that so much fear retirement, and that's why we are so many of us here. So you will recall that from 2018, the government, through the Ministry of Higher and Tertiary Education, introduced the two more dimensions to the education curriculum in Zimbabwe, which is innovation and industrialization. So to start with, as Chinua University, like any other higher and tertiary universities in Zimbabwe, we are moving forward with that philosophy of education 5.0, which is also based on heritage 5.0. What does these two additional aspects mean? What it basically means is a change in our teaching, ways, teaching methods, a change in our subject. We are now focusing on skills. I've heard throughout this workshop up to now, the issue of skills is one of the most lacking or key issue in addition to financing. So the new curricula is putting a lot of emphasis on skills. In whatever we are doing now, it is 60% skills and 40% theory. We teach a lot of animal production related subjects. I'm a bit worried. I only heard about the two animals that featured well throughout this workshop. I think I had the rabbits. I think I also picked presentations on the poultry. I don't know what happened to the goat. I don't know what happened to cattle. And I'm worried. I am somebody who is funding so much of cattle breeding products and technologies. And I think these livestock projects, we can still do them comfortably and live happily and even go on holiday and even leave a legacy. So, focusing on the young minds, on the growing minds, we are teaching them innovation. And not only in teaching, even our examination, even our talking. So we go through with our students. There is something that is called an innovation hub at the university. And this is not only restricted to students. Externals, people from outside can come in, you bring in your idea. We have got a process of nurturing, of nursing through a brilliant idea from a student. So it goes through what various steps that we refer to as a process of incubation. So the idea is tested through incubation. There's a lot of research on it to see if it is going to be viable. If the pointers point to that this business model or idea will be viable, it goes into the next step of being tested under field conditions. And if it passes there, then it is prototyped and you go away with your idea and you implement. So that's one key service which I want people to know, that if you've got an idea from somewhere, business idea in livestock production, which you want to do, you can come to us, we can work together through the idea and test it really on the ground. So let me come to the final point of addressing the question asked, that relating to what are we offering. So as to people like us who are nearing retirement, Chinoi University of Technology, as the name implies, we have a livestock breeding program that has got two product lines that we feel, if taken up and adequately applied, can actually revolutionize livestock productivity. We have a semen production and distribution center that is collecting and distributing a bovine, that is cattle, and ovine, caprine, that is goats and sheep semen. We very soon will be going a step ahead from just the semen to producing sexed semen. When I say sexed semen, it is semen that is sorted sorted according to its gender. How does this product become useful? I can see most of us here are already too late in terms of engaging, in terms of starting this business. I see a lot of sojourners like myself. I see a lot of airports that are flourishing across back there, which means time is gone. Now, it was mentioned by the presenter here that you need to adopt technologies that makes you achieve greater efficiency. So with the sexed semen, for example, you can apply it on your mombes that are there at the house. I know most of us have got mombes at the house already. They may be those of the parents. If they are 10, you apply sexed semen on your 10 females there. By the end of the year, you've got 10 heifers, something like that. That means you already started your cattle producing business. The same applies with the goats. You know, a goat is one of the common animal that you find with people at the houses. But it has been so neglected. Why? Because we are used to just looking for a goat and we kill at Christmas time. But a goat can actually be a very business animal. And you can actually, you know, buy planes using a goat. Goats can do anywhere. Be it Mutare, be it Machwesti, be it Matebelenti, be it goats, they do well in an environment. But one of the challenges that we have is that our goats are small. So with artificial insemination technology, you can actually access those big 75 kg goats from Namibia without forking out $500, $600. I see a lot of, a lot of goat groups around, and you find the boars, these improver goats, are being sold at around $800 US to over 1,000. But if you come to us there and we work together through artificial insemination program, the goat semen costs USD $3.50. I think with your $800 that you wanted to buy a bag, you can do the math yourself and see how many improved goats that you have at the end of the day. So I think for the sake of time, I will wait for other questions, but basically we've got these two products. Sorry, we also have those from Marsh West would know, we also have a program which we call ambulatory services, whereby the university does offer community services to the community around it. Here, we take students around as part of pursuing Education 5.0 philosophy. We take students around into the district, every district in National West, and they do learn on site. If we are talking about if the subject is animal healthy, we are looking for mombes, we are looking for mbuzis there that are sick, and we advise the farmer and we treat in the so it's hands-on learning. So it is also happening, and it is something that we think if you are around and you are running your business in the territory, in the neighborhood, you can ask us to come around, pass around, and we advise freely. Thank you, Moderator.
Thank you, Mr. Chategobo, from Chinoyu University of Science and Technology. I like the fact that he mentioned that their curriculum now is 60% practical and 40% theory. Tina safunda uta nemi bombo ilocast all the 43 parts, and this day Wuzuti, what am I using that for? Right, so ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the Q&A session. You can raise your hands. There are ushers that will pick your question, but please let's stick to the questions for this particular panelist. So we'll take the first line of questions. There is a hand Ushers, if you can assist us.
Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My question is mainly directed at the guy, or is it the lady, who is said to have been a financial expert. He was talking about a package, which was talking of amounts ranging up to 400 and something upwards there. Now, I'm not complaining about our salaries as per se, get me proper. But I wanted to ask him if his company ever thought of those who are earning below what they are asking us to contribute. Do they have something towards that? Because if the answer is no, I think I can bet my last dollar that the majority of the people who are in here are in the 60 years and above like me, and they earn below what they are asking for as installment per month for those 10 years to come and about. Now, do you have a package for those low income earners? And if so, what is it? Thank you.
Thank you for that question. We'll take the next one.
Afternoon.
You
My
can go
name is
ahead and
Benedict
ask.
Nube. I grew up in Mat North. I'm still new into the service, in the education service. I feel shy to speak the number of years that I've served, because I feel like I may be embarrassed, because my teachers and elders in here, I've spent 5 years. Regarding to the question that is presentation that has been talked by Chinoi and other, you talked about poultry, and then you mentioned goat farming. I happen to have noticed, especially in our landscape, like Matebelele North, the goats always flourish very well when the cows are experiencing their hardest moment, their drought. Is there any other booklet or that you can access so that you may actually go through and learn what you have actually studied on how the poultry performs? And then I feel shy because I never saw the land reform. I also experienced a tough time accessing loans. I attended many workshops in terms of apiculture, aquaculture, goat farming, but the problem that I had was the land, which I'm still trying to look for partnership so that I might execute my ideas into practice.
Thank you, Mube. We'll take one from this end. You can go ahead, sir.
Good evening, all. Yes, I want to thank PSC for this wonderful conference. My question is referred to cat. Cat, I understand you are a livestock specialist. Do you have programs that can assist fish farmers? Because I am a fish farmer in Chipinge district, and I have been with the cat in various meetings. For example, I've been with the cat when we were doing when we were carrying a project, fish farming project, which was run by FAO under the Fish for Africa and Caribbean and the Pacific states. There is a lot of interest in fish farming in the rural areas. So, Kati, I don't know whether you can assist fish farmers, because already there are fish farming clusters across the country. So, do you assist in such projects, fish farming projects, so that when we retire, we can do fish farming. And fish is a very good, fish farming is a very good project, because even if we retire, we can rear fish. Fish in a pond does not run just like cattle. We will not be able to run after cattle, so we need to have a livestock that can be managed in a pond, because the fish in a pond does not run, because we will not have the power to run after cattle and the goats.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I got that one. Probably the last one. Let me be gender sensitive as well and give the lady the microphone.
Good evening. My name is Violet Takawira from Ministry of National Housing. I just wanted to ask the lecturer from Cat University. You said you do artificial insemination. How much is it for cattle, and also the ambulatory services that you provide? If I stay far away from Chinoi, but I wanted your services, would you provide in Mashonaland West?
Question was directed to Cat University, but because I didn't get time to make my whole presentation, I am here representing CBZ, but apparently CBZ has now introduced a new portfolio, which is livestock at the bank. And I happen to be the livestock manager for CBZ. And we have got products that speak to you as retirees. The first product that we have is one of dairy cattle. So on dairy cattle, what we're doing is, if you come forward and you meet the expectations that I would be looking for from you, as a bank, we'll buy you a pregnant heifer. That's the program that we have. We're not just buying heifers, but we are buying you pregnant heifers. And because we are concerned about the process that you are going to get, for now we are focusing on pregnant Jersey heifers. The technical term is actually in-calf. In-calf Jersey heifers that are 3 months to 6 months pregnant. And then we give you a moratorium or a grace period of 6 months, allowing all your heifers to calve. In the 7th month, that's when you start servicing your loan. And because you are a retiree, you are not looking for livestock that you need to chase around. Heifers are like broilers. They are kept where you are, feeding them and milking them. And then we just ensure that we partner you with the right off-taker, dairy board, pro dairy, and some such, and they collect your milk, they get the money, they get the money for you, they pay you, and we take our part. And 6 months moratorium. And then for all other livestock, we have got packages that we have tailor-made to suit you. And if you have any idea in livestock, you just come and see me, or you just contact me, and we tailor-make as CBZ. We are now not, we're now not the bank that is cast in stone. Our products are no longer cast in stone. We tailor-make products according to your situation and according to your capabilities. Just to respond to the issue of livestock. And our objective in livestock is not just to make the numbers, but we are trying to bring in the best breeds into Zimbabwe. And at the same time, tapping into the issue of artificial insemination, we are partnering with providers of semen. and sexed semen included. In terms of our prices, for unsexed semen, it's about $10, and for sexed semen, it ranges between $30 and $35, depending with the breed of livestock that you are interested in. And now we know that we are going to have a partner in CAT. We didn't know CAT was actually doing that. So we'll be happy to actually work with CAT to make sure that semen gets to where the farmer is. So you don't have to travel to Harare, to CBZ Harare, for you to get the semen. But we are going to work in partnership with the ministry, in partnership with the vet department. Semen gets to your crow, to where you are domiciled. Thank you. And also, if I could just add some more products besides the livestock, there is the issue of the Belarus mechanization program that we are doing as CBZ in partnership with the ministry. You pay a very small deposit, and it takes you 3 years to service the loan, whatever implement you have taken. If it's a tractor, it will take you 3 years to service that in local currency or in whatever currency you want to pay with. And the percentage that will be charged over and above the price is just 7%. So all you need to do is just raise enough for the deposit, and you are good to go. And just to also add a little bit, those who have got offer letters, as CBZ, we are also assisting farmers to process for the, what do you call them, the title deeds. We are also assisting farmers to process for the title deeds. And again, those who say they do not have capital, but if you have anything that you sell, anything that you are selling, as CBZ, we have established a department that is called commodities trading. And I was here in Bulawayo about 3 weeks ago at the farmers in Dava, and we are going to be assisting farmers with small grains here in Matabeleland who have been having challenges in selling their grains, to sell their grains. All you need to do is, as an individual, you may not have much to sell, but when you come up into groups, into village business hubs that I heard someone talk about here, which as CBZ we are also assisting in organizing in different areas. When you are many, you can come up with a truckload of groundnuts, you can come up with a truckload of small grains. But if you are an individual working on your own, it becomes difficult for you to be assisted. So we actually encourage as CBZ to form yourselves into these business hubs. And again, on livestock, when I'm talking about dairy, as an individual, you cannot take a truckload of dairy cows, of heifers. But as a community, you can take a whole truckload, and you have a central place where you are all taking your milk to. And dairy board just comes and picks the milk from there. But if you want to work as an individual, then we have a problem.
Throughout the rest of the conference to get more insights. I'll ask you to conclude on your panel. Mr. Hilton, thank you.
Thank you. Allow me to give each and every one of you a minute each strictly. A minute each, starting with the agronomist, as we come there.
Thank you. I just want to say, you know, retirement is not the end. It's just the end of one phase and the beginning of another. So let's be positive. Let's go out there and carry out these projects, plan them as businesses, and we'll be able to live pretty. And don't regret that. I wish I'd done this 5 years ago, because everything has got time. Thank you.
Do I start my minute with answering questions, or I go to the conclusion? Because there have been questions directed.
In the interest of time, can you just do it briefly?
Okay, thank you. There was a question on a booklet for goats. I want to advise that indeed there are quite a number of booklets on goat production. Recently, there was the ZAGB program, which produced a sort of a manual on goat production, and I think there's another manual or booklet on goat production from the Ministry of Agriculture. And us, as you know, university, we have got a number of manuals, But ours are not compiled into one. They are subject specific, like a booklet on goat nutrition, a manual on animal goat healthy, and a manual on goat breeding. But there are quite a number of them. I think you just get to your nearest advisor, extension advisor, or Agritech's office or DVS office. They can assist you get those manuals. Or if they are not there, please feel free to reach to us. There was another question about fish farming. I really liked the idea that fish do not have legs and they don't run and are very ideal for, for the retiree. I liked that one. So yes, if you look at our stand there, we do have, in fact, that's one other service that I forgot to mention in my short presentation. At CATS, we have got one of the top brand feed, animal feed, livestock feed manufacturing. In fact, we have got a block there, a block lick there for cattle that is doing wonders. Once they lick that one, they will come by themselves back home. And if you are doing pen fattening, just watch them in the next 40 to 60 days, you have flat back. This block, nutrient block is there. I can tell you confidently that it is selling like hot cake in Zambia. Yet it in Asatatanga Kurishandisa. So indeed, we do have fish programs. We even manufacture fish feed. Please feel free to talk to us or pass through the stand there. There are some gentlemen there who can give you even more.
And your minute is up, sir. Thank you very much. Let's go to the next speaker.
Thank you. The other question I can reply, you can come to me. The other questions, you can, thank you.
Right, over to the gentleman from Ada.
Thank you. In the interest of time, just to encourage everyone to register on our programs that I spoke about earlier. We do have provincial offices across the country, so you can approach those offices and see our provincial agronomists. They will be able to assist you to register on our programs. Thank you.
Thank you.
At CBZ, we don't believe in retirement. We just think that we just know that you are graduating from an employee, maybe into an employer. And if you have got any business ideas that you want to be assisted with, please come forward. We are no longer that old banking institution that you used to know. We are now a bank that has got people at heart. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me conclude by just summarizing my presentation to say that to maximize retirement opportunities in agribusiness, you need to plan your retirement in the agribusiness sector. You need to acquire the relevant skills and continue to learn. You need to know your profit drivers in the business, and you need to identify and manage your risks. You need to leverage on innovation and digitalization. You need to leverage on public resources. You've heard about all the programs that are being talked about here. You need to leverage on private sector resources. They have given us some of the programs that they have. We need to leverage on that. And development projects, we need to leverage on that as well for them to promote our businesses. As the ministry, we are here to help you maximize your retirement opportunities in the business, in the agribusiness, through innovation in crop varieties, livestock breeds, irrigation development, mechanization, education and training, as well as business advisory. I thank you.
Thank you very much. That comes to the end of this session. So let's continue to transform insights into realities. Retirement does not mean inactivity. So let's go out there and build those legacies.